Well, there you go, fading into the distance. We've got Private Investigations by Dire Straits, and I know it's a bit of a cheesy link, but if all's well, on the other end of the phone, we've got Andrew Cross. Is that correct?
It is. Hello.
Hello. Where's that for timing? Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, you're from Answers UK. Is that correct?
Answers Investigation. Yes.
Answers Investigation. So, just tell us a bit about your company, and then we can carry on with the interview.
Okay. Well, we're a private investigation agency. We deal with all sorts of different types of material. We do private work for clients. We do corporate investigation work. We do fingerprinting in-house, computer forensics, tracing a lot of people who've lost their parents, that kind of thing.
Right.
So a wide variety of different types of work.
Right. And looking at your website, I mean, the sort of expanse of your work is on there. I mean, the first thing I'm going to ask is, when you talk about private investigation and private detectives, I think in most people's minds we've got this Hollywood image of these kind of sleuths that go around, and it's quite a romantic, idealised image of private detectives. I mean, is it anything like that?
No. I know, this is the thing. I mean, we often do get people ring up asking for jobs.
Right.
And, they think it's all going to be Starsky and Hutch type stuff and jumping out of aeroplanes and that kind of thing. But, as you've suggested, the reality is very, very different. We work very hard, we do long hours, and, we do well for our clients.
Your particular interest is surveillance, undercover surveillance, and for corporate clients, I think I said on the website.
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of that, yeah. I mean, mostly in a corporate environment. I mean, for example, if we had a case a couple of years ago where a guy had stolen his company database, and he'd gone off and started a rival company, which had obviously cost the jobs of a few people that he used to work with, because he'd taken all the contacts with him and was undercutting them. So to go and speak to him a few times under the guise of someone selling sandwiches, because we watched him for a couple of days and noticed he was going out to get his sandwiches every day. So we prepared some for him and took them in as a free sample, and I started asking him questions about how he got his business up and running so quick.
Right.
And he admitted there and then that he'd taken his company database, and using that information we went to court, and they were able to retrieve it.
Wow. I mean, we're talking here about sort of very positive things about you catching people that are doing wrong, and I think one of the reasons that I wanted to have a chat with somebody like yourself was everything in the news at the moment is slanted towards the, shall we say, the questionable use of intelligence.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be interesting your immediate response to that. I mean, what's been going on about the hacking and the telephone surveillance and all that kind of stuff?
Okay. For starters, the word private investigator, as you said, it conjures up a glamorous image, and I think people use it to label themselves as an investigator, whereby they're not actually doing any real investigating at all.
Right.
All they're doing is purchasing information, probably from a contact they've got within phone companies and things like that, and they're selling it onto the media. The chap who was arrested a few years ago, Glenn Mulcair, I believe, I mean, he used to be a football player from what I understand, and no doubt he probably made a few contacts while he was doing that, and he just decided to cash in on that. I doubt if he ever left his office. I very much doubt whether he got in a car and followed people, if he actually ended up going and doing what we do, which is extensive tracing work.
Right.
We've been doing a job recently for a very nice American gentleman, and we've had to trace a lot of people, and we've gone and knocked on their doors, we've been invited into their homes, we've asked if we can record the conversation because it's a very sensitive nature, and we've sat there and we've dealt with them on a personal basis.
Right.
We haven't paid anyone to get illegal information from anyone else, and I think people like that just label themselves as private investigators purely for the romantic title that it gives them.
I'm with you.
Whereas it's a very much different guise of work to what we're used to doing, which is the proper get down to the bones of things types of investigations. So, we start with a very, very small amount of information, and we'll then go legally about getting what we can, and then personally going and visiting people, perhaps watching people for a couple of days, all within the realms of the law.
Right. I mean, because one of the challenges, I suppose, is we found out that your industry isn't regulated as such, is it?
No, it's not. And this is the thing. I mean, anybody can call themselves a private investigator. They can throw as much money at it as they want, advertising-wise, and hope that they get some business, which is very much what these people have done. And, I mean, I've spoke to several contacts of mine within the industry who I've known for a long time, one of whom is a very elderly man who's been doing the job since 1953, and he's absolutely appalled by it.
Right.
And we're all of the same view that, these people come along, they use whatever modern techniques they can to hack into things, to get illegal information, and they sell it on to the newspapers. They're basically getting it straight from somebody else, washing their hands of it, passing it on to the journalists who are doing exactly the same to them.
Right, okay.
And finally, and thankfully, it's actually started to catch up with these people.
Right. Because in the day of sort of computer technology and mobile phones and stuff, the technology to hack into systems, is quite easily available, isn't it?
So from what I've learned, we've never done that sort of thing.
Right.
But, I've been listening to other radio broadcasts about it. And from what I can understand, it's a case of literally just entering a PIN number in. I'm not quite sure how it works, but you put a PIN number in, allegedly, and then people listening to the voicemail messages.
Yeah,
so it's not. You don't need a science degree to do it.
No.
It's kind of the same as, people who work in computers. You get people who would happily go and hack into government websites or to hack into big computer systems, and yet, 90% of people that work in IT are straight down the line, and that's very much, I think, how it reflects on our industry. We've got the industry itself needs to be regulated because you have people like this who come along, call themselves private investigators, obtain illegal information, and then end up tarnishing the rest of the industry. We've reunited people with parents that they never knew they even had, which is so rewarding. We've done thorough investigations for companies who've been absolutely overwhelmed with what we've done, and we've done it legally. There's absolutely no need at all to go down this route of hacking into phones, and I don't really understand what they wanted to achieve by doing so.
Right. What I'm hearing you saying is that the legitimate private investigator, it's a lot of hard research work, a lot of hard footwork, and a lot of hard, collecting data. Yep.
Yes.
Whereas what we're hearing about is that other people that have acquired some information through dubious means and are trying to sell it to the highest bidder.
Well, yes. Yeah, I was reading a couple of articles about this Mulcair chap, and I think he was on about £110,000 a year just from the News of the World.
Oof.
That's only what we know about.
Right.
And like I say, I very much doubt if he left his office to do it.
Right.
Just literally getting hold of something and selling it on. It's almost like selling a stolen car.
Yeah, I understand. I would imagine this has impacted on your business anyway. I'm guessing because it's raised people's fears of this sort of covert surveillance, this kind of Big Brother notion. Are you seeing an impact on your business?
It's funny because we've actually had people ringing up asking if we can get hold of their wife's bank details or something like that. And whenever we get calls like that, we've always done this, especially with anything to do with finances or mobile phones. We make them aware of the fact that it's illegal.
Right.
They're often very surprised by that, and we'll say to them, look, go and phone around as many people as you want, and I can almost guarantee you someone will offer you that information, but be warned, it's illegal to do it. We can't help, unfortunately. But then what we do is we ask them, why do you need this? What else do you want to find out? And normally you can work around having to do that to be able to get to the bottom of what they actually really want to find out. If it turns out they want to know whether someone went to spent some money in a particular restaurant or something like that, we can often go along and talk to the staff in the restaurant, as there's no need to get into the accounts of someone just for something like that.
Right. So there's legitimate ways of finding the information for bona fide cases.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm just sort of coming back to this sort of regulation. How would somebody train to do what you do? I know that, is it SIA, the Security Industry Authority, have training courses in aspects of personal security. Are they an umbrella organisation that you might be linked with?
Well, the SIA licensing basically is for people like doormen, for close protection work. Really, that is to make sure that you've got a reasonable, clean record for criminal record. As far as training, there is no specific training for this job.
Right.
We've got a couple of guys who used to be on police force surveillance teams, and they'll go out and do a bit of surveillance for us now and again, and we'll go and join them, and they're very, very good at what they do.
Right.
But the good thing about our company is we've got such a wide range of people that work here. Our oldest is 18 just. Our youngest is 18 just, and our oldest is over 60.
Right.
And between all of us, we've got such a different range of skills and personal ways that we can involve ourselves in investigations. We tend to bounce ideas off each other and run the team like that. It's not one person can't learn it all. It would be impossible to learn everything there is to know about the job, and I think people sometimes do get blinkered by that when they ring up. They want to learn everything,
Right.
but you physically can't.
Yeah.
It's the same, I would suppose, within the police force. You can't do every single job in the police. You have to go on certain training courses, or you have to learn on the job, which is pretty much what all of us do here.
Right. I mean, because one of the things I was interested by when I looked at your website was where you mentioned it, the age range of the people involved on your team, and also the backgrounds of some of these people. They come from, because your background is in purchasing.
Yeah, well, it was engineering. I did criminology, sociology degree some years ago. Family are mainly police.
Right.
So I'm in the armed forces. I went into engineering, sort of started off at the manufacturing level, and up and up. So, quite often if we're dealing with corporate issues where it's, engineering is involved, which a lot of it is because some, stuff gets stolen from factories and things, then, I can go and work undercover in there, no problem. I can sort of speak to people about the lingo and parts and things like that. But yeah, having different backgrounds here is tremendous for us all, because we can all put in experiences that we had before to adapt to different things that come up. Probably 60-70% of what we, a new case, we've probably done it before.
Right.
Maybe 25-30%, we've never done it before. So we need to work out a strategy as to how to deal with the rest of it, which is where each one of our different backgrounds and experiences come in very handy.
I must admit the kind of fact-finding research aspect of what you guys do has always appealed to me, because I think at heart I'm a bit of a researcher, Yeah. And that kind of thing has appealed to me. But I suppose that the ethical question comes about, are there cases you won't take, for example, apart from the phone hacking stuff?
Yes. We're very careful with people who ring us up. Occasionally, you get warning signs from people. To give an example, if a man rings up and says, "I'm trying to find my wife, she's left me a couple of years ago and I don't know where she's gone," automatically it may be that he's had some sort of injunction against him and she's been taken away from him and has put herself somewhere where he can't find her because he's violent.
Right.
So we need to go through a series of questions with him, and we need to get some information from him. We need to find out where he lives. We'll have a little look and see if we can find anything immediate before we'll even consider going any further.
Okay.
But most occasions when people, sometimes you can tell within a few minutes of someone's conversation if they're being very derogatory about their ex-partner, calling them all the names under the sun and all this kind of thing, then immediately you think to yourself, do I really want this person to be found by this person? So we are very careful. Ethically, we do occasionally put cameras into places so that we can obtain sort of hidden footage as such, but we'll never put them in areas which is deemed to be unacceptable, such as bedrooms, bathrooms, that kind of thing. So we're very, very careful as to how we go about that. We have to stick to the rules regarding surveillance. We don't creep up to people's windows and take pictures or anything like that.
Right.
It's all done by the book, but we do refuse some people because of their attitude, and also that they think, we can do stuff which is beyond the law. And I think sometimes they're quite shocked to get refused.
Yeah.
Normally from their attitude when they ring us up.
Right. And what you mentioned there, doing things by the book. So there's the legal requirement of what surveillance can be and can't be.
Yes, it's very much based on paparazzi laws, I suppose you can call it. You're not allowed to go onto private property and take photographs, that kind of thing. It is common sense. It's what would, if somebody steps out of their front door and they're carrying some heavy shopping or something like that, and they're off sick from work with a bad back. I think as long as you're parked out on the road and you take some photographs, that's fine. But actually kind of intruding, climbing over someone's gate, for example, and trying to get some photographs is totally out of the window. You can't go anywhere near it. But it's very much common sense. It's just sort of being brought up correctly and knowing what's right and wrong.
And I'm assuming that you, like bona fide investigation agencies, would have a sort of code of conduct and an agreed sort of ethical statement somewhere that the public can see, yeah?
It's funny you should say that. I mean, there's no actual sort of code of conduct within the industry, I suppose, but in order for a company like this to survive and to thrive and continue and to get results, you have to be ethical. You can't... I mean, if you were to get a copy of Yellow Pages from a couple of years ago, look under investigation agencies, get yourself a current copy and open it up and look under the same title, you'll notice the changes in the companies that have been and gone.
Right.
Because they'll come and go, they'll set themselves up, they'll think that they can rummage through people's rubbish bins and all that kind of thing, stuff that they see on telly. They'll get caught, or they'll soon realise that they can't do it, and they'll soon be shut down, or they'll go.
Right. So back to a sort of self-regulatory question then. Do you have a published code of ethics and conduct for your team, and is that something that's in-house?
Our website, www.answers.uk.com, I mean, there's a lot of information on there, and there's well over 800 pages of information and stuff that we dealt with. And some of that touches on our own sort of personal ethical code. We do have terms and conditions on there, which are, everyone's free to view.
Yep.
We always send them out to clients. It's a two-way thing. It protects them and it protects us. So we know we're not going to do anything illegal to get information or results for people. And also, in return, we expect that they don't ask us to do that sort of thing.
Right.
Sometimes, like I said earlier, people do, and they don't realise that they've just asked us to do something which is illegal. So we correct them and make sure that they understand that we can't go down that road. And most of the time, they're very happy that we've told them.
Right.
You get the occasional person who rings up purely for a certain request, and when you deny it to them, they'll just thank you and put the phone down, because they'll no doubt phone another agency, and sooner or later they'll probably get an offer for cash in hand or something like that of the information or whatever it is they request.
Okay. So thank you for your time, Andrew. Just if somebody wanted to find a private investigator for whatever reason, what advice would you give them?
I would say pick up the phone and call them. You can go through websites. Some look bigger than others. I mean, we've put a lot of effort into ours, and it's all genuine stuff that we've done. You'll get a much better response if you pick up the phone and call, because you'll then understand who you're dealing with. You'll naturally will either gel with them or you won't. And if you can get into a conversation and discuss exactly what you require, and you're getting good answers from them, which are believable answers, sort of Superman stories or anything like that, and that's I think how you would choose to go with whatever company you would require.
Okay, thanks for that. And if somebody wanted to pursue a career in private investigation, what would you advise them?
Don't watch too many films.
Right, okay.
Basically, and be prepared for the weird and the wonderful.
Right, okay. And the kind of qualities that you would require to be a good PI?
Patience, I think, and also understanding of people. That's the main thing. Because half the problem that you have is people ring up, they're very embarrassed, they've been down a long road. It's often a very sensitive nature to them, so they may feel uncomfortable about talking to a complete stranger about it. Once you start talking to them and they trust you and you trust them, then they will give you as much information as they know, and it's a two-way thing. It means that you've got everything you need to then start thinking about how you're going to help them, suggest things that you can do for them, and then go out and do them.
Right.
And some of the best relationships we've had with clients is just that. It's a lot of talking on the phone, understanding exactly what we can provide and what they would require, and then putting it all down in front of you and working out a way of doing it.
Fantastic for that. And just to reiterate, the people that are involved with these kind of crazy situations with this hacking are, in your opinion, not proper PIs. They are, shall we say, selling information they've obtained without any thought and ethical consideration.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, I sort of mentioned about stolen cars earlier. you don't see an advert in a newspaper or a Yellow Pages saying, would you like to buy a stolen car? So they're operating off the scale.
Right.
We're very, very public about how we advertise. We always give as honest answer as we possibly can to people who ring us up. And, you know, we won't sell you a stolen car as such. So, again, you have to hunt high and low to find someone to give you that info. At some point, you'll come across them if you ring around enough. But, you know, for bona fide agencies, they won't do it. So, you know, if anyone out there is looking to hire an investigator, be very wary if they start offering you information along those lines.
Okay. Thank you for that, Andrew. Now, just a quick mention, your website is www.answers.uk.com.
That's right, yep. There's about 800 pages on there.
Yep.
We cover a lot of the south, southeast and the southwest, going up to London as well. So quite not a huge organisation, but we've got a really good bunch of people.
Right.
And have a good look through the website, and there's a few decent stories on there, and quite a few video clips and things that we put on there as well.
Well, Andrew, thank you for your time, and can you say a big thanks to Marnie as well, who was so great in helping me set this up.
Busy talking to a client on the phone at the moment.
But she was great to help set this up. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you for your time, and well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye now.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.